I'm Jeff Gorman, and today we're going to talk about how to use LinkedIn in the job search. Now, if you've been employed for a long time and you suddenly find yourself out of a job, you're starting over at 60, you might not even have a LinkedIn profile. Well, it's time to get one. Upload your picture, upload your resume and everything that you've done, and introduce yourself to the business world, because that's what LinkedIn is. It's a social media network that's about business and it's about connections. So that's what you're going to be doing here. Now, so there's three things that you can do on LinkedIn that are the most important. The first thing is to look for jobs. So you're out of work, you have a lot of jobs on there. You can punch in what kind of job you want. You can punch in a remote job. If you need a remote job like I do, you just set it on remote and you get a bunch of remote jobs sent to you. So you browse through those, you apply for jobs, but you don't do that all day because the odds are really not against you. Remember, you're competing against people in your area or even people all over the country if you're applying for remote jobs. So the deck is stacked against you. You could be a very good worker and it's not easy. You may have to apply for hundreds of jobs like I have in order to get one, which I have not yet, but we're going to keep going for it. So now that you have applied for some jobs, you need to start networking. And the first way to network is to read people's posts and comment on them, and eventually make your own posts. So talk about your job search, talk about the industry that you've been in, the experiences that you've had. Let people get to know you, and they'll get to like you. They might want to connect with you, and you want to connect with them. So comment on other people's posts and make sure you avoid anything controversial or political. This is the time to be focused on business. So you've looked for jobs, you've read posts, you've made posts. Now it's time to make connections. So if you see people who are in your industry, people you have something in common with, maybe they even went to your college, and of course that's on there too. And you can ask to make connections with them. Now don't be shy, because that's the whole point. We're all trying to make connections with each other on LinkedIn. And the idea is that if you find a job that you want with a certain company, you may now have connections at that company. And then you want to get into contact with these connections. And you don't immediately say, hey, I applied for this job. Can you help me get a job? No, you say, hey, I just applied for this job at your company. Tell me what it's like. Tell me what your company is like. What's the culture like there? Establish a rapport, establish a conversation, and then after a while, you can say, hey, if there's any way you can introduce me to the hiring manager, that would be great. So that's how it works. It's not all about what you can get. It's also about what you can give. Give your expertise. If you find jobs that somebody else might be able to use, you can give it to them. It's all about networking, and it can be hard. LinkedIn can be difficult to get used to, but ultimately you will get used to it and you can make real connections that will hopefully help you find a job. My name is Jeff Gorman. I'm a senior copywriter and editor, and also a data analyst and sportscaster. I'm still looking for a job, so if you know anybody who needs those skills, I've got them. We'll talk to you next time.